What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Truth Be Told Project podcast. I'm your host, Jay, and I want to thank you for joining me today. We're kicking off a conversation about something I'm super passionate about, and that is rewriting your story. If you ever felt weighed down by your past, like it's a label you can't shake, this episode is for you. Because trust me, I know firsthand that where you've been doesn't have to dictate where you're going. I want to start by saying that a lot of us grew up tough. I don't care if you grew up in church or not, or been a Christian for a long time or not, but even with us being Christians, some of us, we come from backgrounds that have broken homes, missing parents, street life, you name it. Maybe you felt like nobody saw your potential, or you've carried regret for stuff you did when you were just trying to survive. Whatever it is, you might be thinking, this is it. This is who I am, and it'll never change. But let me drop this on you. Your past is a chapter, not the whole book. And I'm going to say that again. It's a chapter, not the whole book. One part of your story, not the entire thing. You still have unwritten pages, and it's your right. God has given you the ability to fill them with something new. And today we'll dig into 3 big points. The first point we want to dig into is owning your past. Why it's crucial to accept and understand your history without letting it define you. Second thing we want to dig into is choosing a different path, because you actually can break what happened before. Cycles, labels, all of it. And the third thing we want to get into is the practical steps. We'll talk about a few things you can do right now to start rewriting your story. So let's talk about owning your past. So let's jump into that first point, owning your past. I've been in the place where my mistakes and regrets felt like a badge I couldn't take off. Everyone knew me for what I'd done. But here's the deal. If you spend all of your time running from your past, it controls you. If you never deal with it, it'll just keep popping up in how you see yourself. It'll pop up in how you see your relationships and your future. Why own it? Why should we own our past? Owning your story means acknowledging it, taking responsibility where you need to, and recognizing the lessons in it. It doesn't mean beating yourself up forever. It means saying, yeah, that happened, I done that, and I learned from it. Because when you confess to God, God does not beat you up about it. He forgives you instantly, and he's not a person that keep bringing it up and throwing it in your face. He forgets about it. He erases it completely. I love this idea that our hardest moments can actually equip us. A lot of street smarts, like recognizing who's real and who's fake, or that strong sense of loyalty, those can be flipped into something positive if you're intentional. Maybe you have to say, I'm not the sum total of my mistakes, I am more. Quick example. Think of someone who grew up hustling. All that hustle can turn into incredible entrepreneurial drive if it's channeled correctly. It's the same skill set, just applied to legitimate, life-giving pursuit. That's part of rewriting your story. You see the good in what you thought was all bad. Next up, choosing a different path. Once you realize your past doesn't have to define your future, you might ask, so how do I actually change? This is where mindset shifts come in, breaking cycles. A lot of us come from generational cycles, violence, addiction, poverty, but someone's got to stand up and say, this stops with me. Maybe your parents didn't show you healthy relationships. Maybe everyone in your family dropped out of school. You can be the one to flip the script. If you're a person of faith, you probably heard Jeremiah 29:11, where God says he has plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Whether or not you grew up hearing the verse, the principle is that there's a bigger plan for you than what you've seen so far. The next thing you want to do is you want to surround yourself with the right people. I can't stress this enough. If you want to choose a new path, don't do it alone. I know our culture kind of emphasizes the idea of being lone rangers, but God didn't create us to be lone rangers. He created us for a community. One of the first first things he determined not good about his creation, and that was for man or woman to be alone. So what you need to do is find mentors, friends, a faith community, people who actually want to see you win. I'll say that again. You want to be around someone who actually wants to see you win. Not everybody you hang around at times want to see you win. So you want to make sure to check your circle constant. Having support transforms everything. It's hard to build a fresh start when everyone around you is stuck in the same old patterns, the same old cycles, making the same old decisions, doing the same old thing. You want to change your circle. You need a fresh start with a fresh circle, fresh people around you who want to see you do good and be better. So what are some practical steps? Let's take some practical steps. Let's get practical. I love having things to help me be practical. I don't like a bunch of theoretical information, or I don't like a bunch of information. I need some practical steps. So the first thing you should do, how do you actually start rewriting your story? Here are a few steps. One, you need to do some reflection and a little journaling. You don't have to be a writer to do this. Just grab a notebook, or you could use a notes app in your phone or tablet or whatever you choose to use. And you want to write down what went wrong, what you wish you done differently, and what you learned. By seeing it in front of you, you gain clarity, you gain self-awareness. You need to be self-aware. You need to be self-aware. Second thing you need to do is you need to set some small goals. Don't try to change your entire life overnight, because it won't happen. Where you're at today, it didn't happen overnight. It took a series of decisions to get you where you are. It's going to take a series of decisions to get you out of what you're in right now. So if you want to leave whatever lifestyle, it could be a gang lifestyle or whatever. Maybe your first goal is finding a job, a training program, or reaching out to a reentry service. If you want to repair family relationships, start with one phone call or one honest conversation. 3, positive input. Fill your mind and environment with uplifting stuff. You have to change what you plug into your mental. You have to stop listening to certain music. You want to program it with podcasts, music, books that encourage growth. Limiting screen time or social media can also help, because comparison and negativity often creep in from there. So you want to limit your social media intake. 4th, you want to embrace accountability. It may be a faith leader. It could be an older friend, a family member who's been there for you, or a new community group you trust. Accountability keeps you on track when you feel like slipping back into old patterns. The 5th thing that you want to do is you want to check your progress. Every week, take a few minutes to ask, what changed this week? Where did I struggle and where did I succeed? This self-check helps you adjust your plan in real time. Let me throw in a quick personal note. There was a time I thought my past was permanently branding me. I show up somewhere and I knew people saw me as a lost cause. But over time, through faith, through the right people, and a lot of reflection, I realized I could own my story and reshape it. It didn't happen overnight, but that's how I know you can do it too. If you're breathing, fam, you got potential. So wherever you are, whatever you've done, there is grace, there is hope, and there is a path forward. You just have to decide you want it and take those small, consistent steps. Like I said, it's not going to happen overnight. Where you're at right now in life, it didn't happen overnight. It took a series of decisions over a period, sometimes a long period of time. So you just going to have to reverse it and start deciding to do things different on a consistent basis, not a one-time thing. You have to do it and take it one day at a time, one decision at a time to reverse it. All right, fam, that's a wrap for today's episode on rewriting your story while your past doesn't define you. If this episode resonated with you, share this episode with someone who needs a reminder that they're not locked in their past. And if you have questions, comments, you want me to say a prayer or 2 or 3 or 4 or however many, hit me up on social media. I love to connect and support you. Join me next week when we talk about self-worth and how to build confidence even if you've never felt it before. And it's it's going to be real. It's going to be honest. I can't wait to dive in. Remember, don't just live by default. Live by design, God's design, specifically, which includes something far better than what you've experienced. Thanks for tuning in to the Truth Be Told Project. I'm Jay, and I'll catch you next time. Stay blessed, stay hungry, and stay open to the fact that your future is bigger than your past. Peace.
Living by design, not just living by default. We are focused on our purpose, we don't compromise our walk. We got faith, we got vision, we are reaching for the stars. Stay true, keep it moving, cause we know just who we are. Yeah, biblical insights, community driven, practical living. Yeah, this is a whole vibe. Together we get it, together we winning. Yeah, here to make an impact that'll last. So welcome to the Truth Be Told Project Podcast.